and welcome to the Knitting Type podcast. My name is Sarah, and I am the host of this podcast. This is a podcast about knitting and crochet and sewing and any type of crafty adventures that I have and would like to share. Today is Sunday, December 11th, and I am recording in yet another room in my house. I am recording in what I call my den, and this is where, you can't see it over here, but I have a big wood burning insert kind of stove oven type thing, and I have a little Christmas tree down here. If you can't see these little gloves, I put them there on purpose so that it would look like it was trying to give you a Christmas hug. This is my tiny tree full of little handmade ornaments or like soft ornaments for the cats to kind of play with. And I'm recording in here because my office, where I typically record, is a hot mess full of wrapping paper and presents and projects. And it's just a mess. So I figured I would record here today since it has the best assemblage is not the right word. It just looks the nicest, if we're being honest. So I just recorded a podcast where I talked about the Gilmore Girls knit along wrap up and giveaways. So if you participated in that and you're wondering where the prize announcements are, they're in that podcast. And I figured I would just record that separately so that anyone who wasn't participating in that but tuned into this podcast wouldn't have to sit through a bunch of Gilmore Girls talk. So I've announced all the prizes and gave out my thoughts on the revival. And so if you're interested in listening to that, please go find that previous episode. I think it's episode 15 or 16. And this is 15, 16, or 17. I don't know. I don't know what episode I'm on. I haven't recorded in a couple weeks. I've had a lot of personal things come up lately. I was supposed to record, I think, about 2 weeks ago, but I had family in town, and then I had a couple personal things come up, and life gets in the way of podcasting, and it gets in the way of knitting, to be honest. And so I didn't get to record as much as I wanted to, but I'm here now, and I have the Christmas tree lit, and I have works in progress to show. I have no FOs, but I'm wearing FOs, so I can talk about those. And I have this beautiful opal advent calendar where I'm going to reveal my first 11 days so that I can finally start knitting on them. I have this David's Tea advent calendar back here, which I am also going to talk about. I'm really excited about that. I have some acquisitions that I'm going to show, and also I recorded no show notes, so I'm totally flying off the cuff, and I hope you'll stick around to hear what happens. I have no idea. I have some David's Tea. This was a free sample tea that I got. It's called Midsummer Night's Dream. So it's really nice with David's Tea online is if you order tea, which I have ordered quite a few as presents for relatives and friends and family this year. If you order from them, you get like 3 samples of tea. And so this is a sample that they sent, which was Midsummer Night's Dream. And I think it has passion fruit and grapefruit. And it's a non-caffeinated tea that tastes divine. And it's in my llama alpaca mug. Llamas. Okay. So let's start with FOs and what I'm wearing, right? So this is Windswept by Molly Klatt of A Homespun House, and I have worn this on the podcast before. It is knit out of Anzula's yarns. I don't remember what the base is, but it's a MCN merino cashmere nylon. It might just be merino and cashmere, actually. It is in the Nimbus colorway. I remember that because Harry Potter gets the Nimbus 2000 wand, but also Nimbus is like, I believe, the glow on a cloud. So like that haze around a cloud. And I think that's what they were going for and not the broomstick. So the windswept was supposed to be knit out of sock yarn, I think is what the pattern calls for. And I took a hint from Chelsea of Legacy Fiber Arts, and that's a podcast and a line of yarn. And she knit hers out of, I think, a DK weight. And so I did the same thing because I liked how big and heavy that looked, which is perfect for here because I'm really glad I'm wearing it and I'm all bundled up because it is cold here. We have officially hit winter. It is going to be in the negatives this week. It is about 32 today, but it snowed for 3 hours this morning. We're supposed to get at least 2 to 3 more days of snow next week. So my fingers are crossed for a white Christmas. So this is just lovely and squishy and warm, and I'm so happy that it is in my knitwear collection, meaning my personal collection, not like I designed it. And then I'm wearing this hat because I thought I really want to record a podcast and don't want to do my hair. So this is a cabled hat that I improvised. I don't know what you can see of it. It is knit out of single ply Malabrigo yarn. I don't know the colorway. I knit it about 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm not going to take it off my head because then I'll have hat hair and that will look atrocious. So because I am podcasting in this location, we do have a little visitor. And so this is Charlie. Charlie, can you? Don't grab the yarn. Oh. So say hi. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. She's looking everywhere but at the camera. There she goes. Aw, good job, Charlie. So she might walk in and out of this week's episode. Okay, so let's go to my whips. So I'll just discuss all my knitting at the beginning, and then if you're not into acquisitions or you don't want to see anything else, you can go ahead and leave. But this way you get an idea of what I've been working on. So I bought a Christmas project bag or a holiday project bag or a winter project bag, but I was able to catch one of Shauna's Etsy updates. So Shauna is the host of the Adelaide Cottage podcast, as well as the owner of the Adelaide Cottage Etsy shop. And she put out a series of winter holiday bags, and this was one of them. And I loved it with all of its fawny goodness, just beautiful little fawns all over the place. She has beautiful little wooden labels on the bottom of her bag, and this bottom has like a gold polka dot on red fabric. It's covered in cat hair and such. So inside, I'm knitting a sockhead hat, my very first ever. So this is knit out of, oh, there's my coffee cup progress keeper from the Gnome Knitter. This is knit out of Miss Crosby's, what is it? Miss Crosby loves to play. Her hat box base, which is a 75 superwash merino wool, 15% silk, and 10% cashmere blend in the Hosta colorway. And I love it. Now, it is going to be a gift for someone, so I'm not going to say who, but it's almost done. It's supposed to droop. You're supposed to, like, wear it. Obviously, the ribbing is right here. The ribbing's long, and then it droops. And I'll just see if you all want to give me your opinion. Should I or should I not put a little bobble on the end? Wouldn't that be cute? Like, hanging, I'm not going to show that. Hanging off the end. I don't know. I can't decide, but I think that bobble color goes really well with the yarn. So this is the sockhead hat pattern, which I have a picture of right here. And the sockhead hat is supposed to be knitted in sock weight yarn. I, of course, did not abide by that, and I instead knit it in sport weight. And so this is kind of an idea of how it's supposed to droop off the back of your head, or here's someone wearing it. And this pattern is by Kelly McClure. And so I'm using sock weight yarn, and therefore I did the ribbing in size 3, US 3 circular needles. And then I switched to size 4 for the body of the hat. in circular needles. So I think it's producing a fine-sized hat. It's very slouchy, just as it's supposed to be, and I think it will fit its new recipient perfectly. So I'm hoping to have this done either tonight or by Monday or Tuesday so that I can cast it off and get it in the mail to its recipient. So put that cute little bag. Oh, you can't see it. It would have to be like right here. Oh well. Okay. And then my other whips are just little crochet octagons I've been working on. So I can't remember which one of these I've shown on the podcast and which I have not, but I'm using my minis to do a crochet octagonal blanket. And so these are the ones I finished so far. Some have ends that need to be woven in and some do not. Like this one has ends. And this one has ends. And then these are the two that I have done recently. So this one was knit out, or crocheted rather, out of O Loops yarn from a yarn club for her Harry Potter yarn club. And I forget what colorway it is. It has to do with Hufflepuff though. So that's a Hufflepuff colorway. And then this was a leftover yarn from my Because I Love You wrap, which I showed in my last podcast, and it's by Haverland, and I love the color variety in here. I think it's so beautiful. I waffle back and forth between jumping on board the Cozy Memories blanket, the mitered squares, because I feel like colorways like this, when knit in the mitered square, or like this, you would really be able to see the striping effect of a mitered in the mitered square, as opposed to a crocheted octagon. I don't really get the striping effect in a crocheted octagon as I would in a mitered square. But I'm working on a mitered square blanket that's really big and by Knit Picks, and it's not my jam. So I don't know that I'd like that. And now everybody's crocheting these, I forget what they're calling them. They're essentially cozy memory blankets because they're using minis and they're just crocheting straight lines of like a double or triple crochet cluster. I think it's a double crochet cluster basically, and they're crocheting it all the way across. Crochet was my first love. I learned to crochet when I was 17, and at the time my boyfriend's mom taught me to crochet. I don't know what he did while his mom and I sat on her couch and crocheted. I literally have no memory of where he was at the time when I was sitting on her couch and learning to crochet, but I'm really happy that I had that time and I learned to crochet, and that I then had years of crocheting really short scarves for friends and family who tolerated receiving those gifts from me, because I love to crochet and I think it's so relaxing, and it doesn't require a lot of thought. So I have a lot of crocheted granny squares that I never did anything with. I've crocheted hats for people before, lots of crocheted blankets, which I believe I've shown on the podcast, one of which is actually sitting right here in this basket next to me, 2 of them. So yeah, I thought that my Cozy Memories blanket should be crochet because knitting has become my first yarny love as of late, and this year in particular. And I thought a great way of getting back to my crochet roots would be to honor that by doing a crocheted Cozy Memories blanket. And I know that when it's all said and done in 5 years, I will love it. And I do think that crocheted blankets go faster than knit blankets. I've knit 2 baby blankets, and they were small, of course, and probably with sport weight yarn. I never know worsted DK or Aran. I don't know what order they go in as far as weight. So I think it was sport yarn, but they took longer, and I thought I can't imagine knitting a full size like adult blanket. I think it would take me so long. So crochet all the way for me when it comes to blankets, even though my husband says those blankets have holes in them. I think they're cozy, and I like a good crochet blanket. Okay, so those were FOs and whips. So I'm going to move on now to, oh goodness, I don't know. I think I'll move on to, I'm going to save the Advent for last because I'm truly excited about that. I'm truly excited about these things too. But I like the idea of a big reveal with the Advent calendar. So I'm going to show you some skeins of yarn that I've acquired recently. So I participated in the hashtag Get Your Yarn Wish Granted on Instagram, which I've never heard of before, but apparently has been around for a couple of years. I just started Instagramming in a nitty way this year though. So, I saw people posting about it and I was like, oh, that's nice, but I can buy anything I want. And then I thought, oh, but I have things I can give to people. I've acquired a lot this year, and some of them were from yarn clubs where I loved participating in the yarn club. But when I received the colorway for that month, I thought, I don't know that I'd really knit anything in that color just because it's not my colorway jam. I mean, it could totally be someone else's colorway jam. So I liked the idea of gifting those to other people. And so I did participate, and I posted that I would love to get some woolen vine because I have tried to purchase some of Kristen's yarn from the Yarngasm podcast, and that's woolen vine yarn. And I've never been able to. I don't even get cart jacked. It's like I think it's available, and then I go to put it in my cart, and they're like, oh, it's sold out. And then I rush to another color and they're like, yeah, it's available. Nope, it's sold out. And so I haven't been able to get any woolen vine yarn yet. But I put up the Get Your Yarn Wish Granted post on my Instagram, and a lovely woman, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. I believe she's called the Cozy Llama on Instagram. I should double check that. Hold on, I'm going to look because she was so sweet. And I want to get her name correct. She said, I have some woolen vine yarn and I'll send it to you. And I was like, no way. And she said, absolutely. Give me your address. Oh, Super Cute Llama is her name. And her other name is Kelsey. So her real name's Kelsey and her Instagram name is Super Cute Llama. And this is the woolen vine yarn that she gifted to me and made my yarn dreams come true. And not only do I love the colorway, which is called Angry Orchard. I love these pinks and oranges and browns. But it's on the narwhal base, which is a superwash blue-faced Leicester silk and cashmere. So it's a 70-20-10. And narwhal is exactly what I always wanted to purchase. So when I would go on to Kristen's updates and try to purchase the woolen vine yarn, I would go for narwhal first. And I was trying to get it in the Venus flytrap, and I couldn't, and then I'd move on to something else narwhal, and I could never get it. So the fact that Kelsey from Super Cute Llama not only had a skein of woolen vine that she was willing to part with, but that it was the exact base that I'd been trying all year long to get my hands on, and she was willing to part with it, I was so touched. And as soon as she offered it up to me, I thought, oh, that's what it's all about. It's about that excitement, that ability to offer that excitement and that generosity to somebody else. And so I started creeping on Instagram, looking for the hashtags, Get Your Yarn Wish Granted. And I just wanted to fulfill somebody's wish so badly. So I did. I can't remember what I sent off, but I believe I did it for at least 2 or 3 people because I love I love prizes. I love sending things to people. I love the anticipation and the not knowing, which is why I'm just totally in love with this advent calendar behind me and cannot get enough of it. Yeah, so this was just so exciting. And of course, I have no idea what I'm going to make, but I'm totally thinking a shawl. I'm thinking browns, and I don't know what else. So I feel like definitely like a chocolate brown. What do you think? I have no idea what shawl though. Oh, I think it's so gorgeous. I'm so grateful she was willing to part with it because I wouldn't. I would be like, no fool and vine here. So anyway, yay, get your yarn wish granted. Okay, and then the other 2 skeins of yarn that I acquired were also a super sneaky, awesome surprise. And if I could have gotten my yarn wish granted for anything else, it would have been by this designer yarn. And that is Legacy Fiber Arts, Sue and Chelsea. And my cat is laying on one of them right now. Can I have that? Can I? So I asked Sue and Chelsea if they would like to dye yarns for my Gilmore Girls knit along, something Gilmore Girls inspired. I didn't care what it was. I wanted to leave that creative genius up to them. But knowing that they were a mother-daughter duo from Connecticut, like Lorelai and Rory, I felt compelled to ask them if they would be willing to, if they had time, to dye up a colorway specifically for the knit along. And both Chelsea and Sue said yes right away, which I was so grateful for. So these are the colorways that they dyed up. And not only did they provide 2 skeins for the giveaway, but they gave me 2 skeins, which I was so grateful for because, again, they're the type of independent yarn dyers where when they announce that they've got a colorway or a theme and they announce a shop update, it's gone within like 5 minutes, and they could have 150 skeins of yarn to sell, and literally it is gone in 5 minutes or sooner. It's like trying to get tickets to a U2 or Madonna concert. Like, they're not going to last. They're going to go right away. So you better be queued up in line. And I always miss them because, I work 9 to 5 and commutes and whatever. And so I don't always get the updates. So these are the 2 skeins of yarn that they dyed. This one is Lorelai and this one is Rory. And these are dyed on their steel toe base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 4-ply, 463 yards or 100 grams skein. And their Etsy shop is Legacy Fiber Arts with a Z, llc.etsy.com. And I have to say, I love this Lorelai colorway. It's a little blown out, but it's totally 80s. It's totally Lorelai. Totally reminds me of her like bangles obsession with the 80s, and just her personality of being bright and unpredictable and vibrant and kind of in your face, in the best possible way though. And so yes, Lorelai. And then this, of course, is Rory, and it is in mature blues and educated blacks and whites. And I really feel like this is representative of Chilton and of Yale. And so it's so funny because you would think these hot pinks and purples were the youthful daughter and that the more mature colors were the mother, but nope, totally swapped. So thank you, Sue and Chelsea. I'm really excited. I have no idea what I'm going to knit. It's probably going to be socks. But I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. And I cannot wait. And they said that they may, no promises, they may be doing a Gilmore Girls line of yarn in 2017. So if you are interested in a whole Gilmore Girls line of yarn by Legacy Fiber Knits, please, or Legacy Fiber Arts, please private message them or whatever and let them know that you would be interested. And maybe much like the revival, we can make a public push to make that happen, because I would certainly like to see that. So thank you, Sue and Chelsea. Yay! Yay for Gilmore Girls. Yay for Legacy Fiber Arts. And yay for yarn. Okay, moving on. Advent. So in the way of Advent, I've never participated in Advent. I couldn't tell you what day you're supposed to start it or where it's supposed to end. I think it's December 1st through December 24th. And I'm participating in 3 basically this year. One is by pure accident, and that is these Vlogmases. They feel like Advent calendars to me that every day I get to watch. And if you don't know what a Vlogmas is, it is a short daily podcast, December 1st through December 24th, by other podcasters. So the ones that I'm currently watching are Eric from Sticks Plus Twine, Inside Number 23 with KT, the Molly from A Homespun House, she's doing one. Kristen from Voolenvine or the Yarngasm podcast is doing one. And then Sarah from Love Sock Wool, I think is her podcast, and she's doing one. And so those are the 4 or 5, 6 that I'm watching. And it's every day. They're just releasing a little 2 to 8 minute video, and it has to do with their daily lives during the month of December. And I think it's such a nice little window, if you will, like opening that little Advent door into a knitter's life. And I'm really, really enjoying it. I just remembered another one. Jacqueline from Knit Folk or Brooklyn Knit Folk. She's got one too, and that's so fantastic because she's taking you around New York City and you're seeing how beautiful it is this time of year, and it really is a gorgeous city. So the other 2 Advent calendars I'm participating in are this David's Tea. Gorgeous. If you didn't get one this year, I would encourage you to get one next year. You open this little flap, and it's 24 teas. Now, I think that you get at least 2 cups worth of like coffee mug cups worth of tea each day. And so far I have gotten Snow Day, Jumpy Monkey, hot chocolate was today, which I'm excited to try. Nutty and Spice, Forever Nuts coffee cake. Was the one that I really liked was apple cider was amazing. And then there was like a ginger pear one that was so good. So every day, I'll show you what one day looks like so that you kind of get an idea. We'll just go with day 7. You pull out the little box, just like this. And then inside the box is a beautiful brushed gold colored canister full of tea. And on the back, it says what it is. So it looks just like that. So that's Nutty and Spice. And this whole thing is full, so you can see that I've kind of had half of it already. And there's a whole nother serving left. So you really do, you get a lot. And then on the bottom of the little box, it tells you, let's see, you can kind of see it there. It tells you how to make the tea. And it says how much to use, how long to steep it. And then it says its level of caffeine. So if it's low caffeine, middle caffeine, high caffeine, which is nice. And then because I'm such an organizational freak, I like to put the little canisters right back in their boxes and put them back in the day that they belong to so that I can open it up again later and be like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. So the David's Tea Advent Calendar, something I saw on Instagram or saw Canadian podcasters talking about, and I thought, okay, yes, I will get that. I also got it as a gift for my mother-in-law. Really reasonably priced. I think this was $40 straight from Canada, and they had free shipping on any orders over $50. So $40 for 24 days of tea variety, I think is not that expensive when you think that you pay like $5 to $8 when you go to Starbucks for the same holiday beverage over and over again. Okay, and then my big opal reveal. Yay! Opal! Again, I saw this on Instagram, that other people were getting it, so I saw it sometime in November. Oh yeah, like at the beginning of November, I would say. And I knew that a bunch of people were doing advent calendar swaps, like yarn swaps, and I totally missed out on them. I know that the Spicy Homemaker, Melissa from the Spicy Homemaker podcast, hosted one, and I missed out. I didn't realize she was hosting it, and by the time I found out, it was closed, and I couldn't join in on it. And then Sue and Chelsea from Legacy Fiber Arts, they were having one where you could buy the yarn and they would get it out to you in time, and I missed out on that one. And so I saw people posting about an opal yarn advent calendar on Instagram, and I searched everywhere until I finally found one at a reasonable price, which I purchased mine from loveknitting.com, and it was $80. Now, $80 might sound like a lot, but I saw it on other yarn vendors' websites for $110. So I figured $80 with free shipping was pretty good. Now, Love Knitting is in the UK, I believe, so it did take 3 weeks to ship, and there was no tracking. So I couldn't really tell when it would show up. They said about 14 business days. And I believe I got this around November 20. It was like Thanksgiving or the day after. Actually, I think it was the day after, because I had emailed them, loveknitting.com. I'd emailed customer support, and I was like, I'm concerned because I haven't gotten mine yet, and I ordered it on November 5th. And it's been exactly 14 business days or 14, I forget. And they said, their website had said, if it doesn't arrive within 14 days, please contact us and let us know. And I have to say that their customer service was so fantastic. They emailed me right away, I would say within an hour or two, and they apologized. And they said it didn't come with tracking, so they have no way to track it. But if it didn't arrive by this specific date that I now forget, to please let them know, and they would ship out another one to me with tracking, no additional charge. And by the way, for the inconvenience, here's a 30% discount code. So I just thought that was really lovely customer service, and I would totally order from them again, and we'll probably get next year's Opal calendar from them. So the other thing that I have to say about this wonderful advent calendar, and here's the front, is that I know a lot of people are revealing on Instagram. And a lot of people, when I posted a picture of me with my opal yarn box, said, I hope you'll reveal and can't wait to see what you got. And at that time, I didn't want to reveal anything. And that is because I get so excited for surprises. I love a good surprise, and I will drag it out as long as possible. I will unwrap something super slowly, and I will, if it's a group type present opening type of deal, I ask to always be the last one to go because I love the build of anticipation. And throughout my life, I've always been a good guesser, and it's non-intentional guessing. So someone will say, I got you something for your birthday. And I'll remember a conversation we had 3 months ago, and I'll be like, oh, I bet it's this. And then it turns out to be whatever I thought it was. And then I've ruined my own surprise. And it's never, with intention. I'm a really good guesser, or I just have a really good catalog in my head for previous conversations and potential gift ideas for people and for myself. And so I end up ruining my own surprises. So with this, I didn't want to ruin my surprise, and I didn't want to ruin a surprise for anybody else. So I tried on Instagram to skip over anyone who was revealing their opal yarn advent calendars, and I didn't want to post what I was getting in case it revealed too much for someone else. Just being a secret surprise lover myself, I didn't want to ruin anybody else's surprise. And what's great about the Opal Advent Calendar is that not everyone gets the same kit. So what might be day one opal yarn for me would not necessarily be opal day one yarn for somebody else. That being said, however, I can't imagine that they created hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different boxes. I would assume that there are like 5 to 10 different varietals, and they all have different days and yarns assigned to those days. And on the same token, I still didn't want to reveal anything because I figure what I get on day 1, someone else might get on day 20, right? So what I figured I would do, though, because I do want to start knitting with these and I do want to show them, is that I would reveal them on this podcast, and that way I could knit with what I got. Smart. Using that noggin. So really quickly, and I might even zoom through this on the video so that it goes quickly, I'm going to show you the Opal Advent Calendar. Now, every day has different doors, different numbers on the doors, and you pretty much have to rotate the box and find which day is on which. So I'm not really going to say anything too much. I'm just going to open the doors and then probably speed up the video so it goes quickly. So here we have day 1. And so that's it. That is day 1 through 11 of my Opal Advent Calendar. I hope you enjoyed the big reveal, and I will try to do another podcast where I reveal days 12 through 24, probably. So speaking of that, my next podcast is going to be sometime before the end of the year. I kind of would like to talk about what a great year it's been. So kind of like a knitter's year in review. And I hope to reveal the other opal colors then. I might do a pre-record so that I can start knitting with them. My hope is to make a mini sock garland that I would keep up year round, as well as put on maybe my soft ornament handmade tree in the future. So thank you all for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday month and that, everything's just super beautiful and snowy and full of fun knits and holiday cheer. Thank you so much for tuning in to me. I am TheKnittingType again, and you can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, Gmail, Blogger, and Etsy as TheKnittingType. Thank you. Bye.